171.1. Yeah, pretty good, huh? Yesterday, I was 174.8. I honestly don't know what I did, but I should keep on doing it. Alright, what did I eat? Well, in the morning, I had one serving of Quest chips. I had one serving of those cheese balls. They were called moon cheese, I believe. They're not so bad once you get used to them. And then I had two keto cupcakes with chocolate keto frosting put on top of them, heated in the oven. I gotta be honest, I think I prefer microwaving them at 20 seconds instead. I felt like when I reheated them in our toaster oven, it dried them out, and I didn't like that. Lessons learned. Well, what did I eat in the afternoon? A delicious bowl of steak salad with mixed greens, onions, a mayonnaise and mustard dressing, and leftover steak from last night. Pretty good. My mom made it. Oh, and it also had chopped up avocado in it. Then, at night, I had quite a few things actually. First, from a grocery store haul, I tried some keto cookies that I got from a store. They weren't the bee's knees, let me tell you. They used erythritol to sweeten them, along with almond flour, and they had this weird cooling aftertaste and an unfortunate texture that I can only describe as too gritty. While at the same time, like, sort of a frustrating crunch that isn't a snappy, satisfying crunch and isn't a soft crunch. It's a weird in between that annoys me just trying to communicate what exactly it was like. I got two flavors. I got chocolate chip flavor and ginger flavor. Both of them were really bad because of the cooling aftertaste and the funky texture. And honestly, they just tasted like I was eating chemicals. And then after that, I had a Catalina Crunch cookie that was trying to mimic an Oreo. And that was also very chemically tasty and just very gross. I did not like any of the cookies I got. I thought they were all very nasty. And the only upside to any of this is that I got them for a bargain price of like $8 for 3 of those items. Which at a normal grocery store, if I got 3 of those items, it probably would have cost me like $10 to $13. So that's a plus, I guess, but I still feel like I wasted my money. I'm never getting those again, that's for sure. I could make better keto baked goods at home. Well, anyways, enough complaining about that. Let's move on to what was eaten for dinner. And before I had full-on dinner, I wanted to wash the funky taste of those keto cookies from my mouth. So I got some moon cheese balls and ate those. And honestly, I gave them a hard time in the last video, but dang, compared to those, they're like manna from heaven. Yeah. Well, anywho, for dinner, I had chopped up, I think it was shrimp mixed with, what was that, zucchini and the bean sprouts. And I think that might have been it, with a whole bunch of different seasonings on it. That was sauteed and cooked by both my mom and my sister. put inside of a lettuce wrap. And I have to say, it was very good. My mom wanted me to throw in the cauliflower pizza we had, so I did that. And I looked up online, and that thing actually has a lot of carbs in it. I had to get to the point where I had to cut the pizza into 1/8, and then cut that 1/8 piece into into half of a piece. And when I ate that, I mean, it tasted really good. I really liked it, but it was literally like a super thin sliver, joke of a slice, honestly. But the reason why I had so little was because my carb count would have went way over budget if I had 1/8 of a slice, which would have been 12.25 grams of carbs. But with that halved out, it was around like 2 grams or 6.10 grams of carbs. So yeah, that's cool. And then my sister offered to make me another one. And then, of course, I said, yes, please. And I asked if she could put in my 0-carb Mission tortilla that I got from the grocery store I work at. And she agreed, so she made that. And I gotta be honest, I probably should have stopped at the lettuce wrapped shrimp, because I had 3 of those lettuce wrapped shrimp meals, and then having one more was just a teensy bit too greedy. I won't be surprised if I jumped up a pound or 2 tomorrow in the morning. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, any exercise? I did go for a walk around the neighborhood late at night from like 10 to 11 for a good while. Pretty good. I was listening to the Area 52 podcast with UAP Gerb still. Any new info that's worth sharing? I mean, they're basically hyping up the Bob Lazar documentary about S4 that is supposed to come out eventually, and the Age of Disclosure documentary that is also supposed to come out eventually. So there's that. Everything else is just a bunch of like acronyms for military like organizations and businesses. So it was quite a dense listen, that's for sure. And then I just listened to a bunch of different like music. There was like one song I was trying to think about on my walk that I wanted to listen to that they play at my grocery store. And for whatever reason, I couldn't find it on the YouTube app. It was very weird. Like, it was like a song that sounded like "Around the World," and yeah, for whatever reason, every single song that had that lyric did not sound like the song I heard at my grocery store that I work at. So yeah, I was a bit bummed about that because I kind of wanted to jog while listening to that because I liked the beat and sound it had. I thought it was a really fun, fresh beat. Oh well. So I chose to listen to other songs that reminded me of it. Well, anyways, yeah, that's pretty much the only exercise I did. Well, after all that, let's get on with the day update, shall we? Okay, so let me think. What happened? Okay, I remember it was the morning. I felt really sticky and gross because I had taken a shower in like 2 days. So I dragged myself out of bed, grabbed a towel. Before going to the shower, I drank some water, and then I took a nice shower. Got all fresh. So, really cool. Got my deodorant on and everything. Then, after I got dressed, before I got dressed actually, I decided to weigh myself on the weight we have in the restroom to see how I was doing. And that's how I found out about the 171 weight. So that felt pretty rewarding, not gonna lie. This keto thing seems like it's paying off. Well, putting that away, I went and dressed myself, and then I realized, oh, I need to do some laundry today because I ran out of clean clothes to wear. So I threw a whole load of clothes into the wash, and yeah, after that, what happened? Oh yeah, I remember getting the snacks, the Quest cheddar chips, and the Moon cheese cheese balls. And I put those together as a nice little low carb snack. And I got an A&W Zero and went into my room to watch a new Red Letter Media video that just came out about this film called Weapons. And the video didn't really do a good job explaining exactly like what, I mean, it did, but at the same time, not enough for me to really understand what's going on. Like, what I get from the movie is that apparently there are children that are disappearing, and then like the town starts to notice and they want to know what's going on, so they like start launching an investigation, and like that's what gets the plot rolling. And then everything else is supposed to be a surprise that you're not supposed to know about unless you watch the movie. All I could say is that the hosts of the show, Red Letter Media's Half of the Bag, really enjoyed it. Mike Stolklasa and Jay Bauman. So I'm not really a horror guy. I don't really watch a lot of horror movies at all, so I don't know if I'll be watching that, but it looked pretty interesting. Well, anyways, after watching that, for whatever reason, I wanted to go back in time to one of their earlier videos. Not their earlier videos, but an early video in terms of like taking place during the pandemic back in 2022 when they released the Godzilla vs. Kong movie into theaters. They were talking about that. So I decided to watch that, and I was like, as I was watching it, I was like, dang, these guys, like, for whatever reason, to me, they looked much younger, and that was just like 3 years ago. Like, wow. They definitely looked a little more gray-haired, a little more older in their newest video compared to the one that was only just like 3 years ago. It was a little trippy, not gonna lie, but yeah, the video is pretty funny. Like, I liked a lot of like different sequences within it. Like, one of my favorite was when Mike Stolklasa was making fun of different movie tropes he was noticing within the Kong versus Godzilla movie. And one of the ones he was trying to recreate was like where people are like just walking in a forest, and then they hear something, and then they make that, oh no, not again, like face like this. Yeah, something like that. That was my best impression of it anyways. Well, after watching that, my sister let me know that she was going to get some business done. So she left, and before she left, she made a suggestion that perhaps we could go to a grocery store to maybe pick up some keto snacks or some stuff to make the diet more interesting. And I said, yeah, that would be pretty good. Help get out of the house. Well, she left, and when she left, I decided to watch a documentary about the movie Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Walt Disney animated film that started their animation movie lineage. And yeah, it was basically made by a really passionate fan who loved animation. You could tell because he had a whole lot of different like clips, and the way he talked about it, you could just tell he was really interested in what he was saying. And I dug it. But I was starting to feel like I was watching my day away and I wasn't really doing anything that was contributing to my own personal like motivations and goals. So I was like, oh yeah, I haven't done my YouTube Brain Jam Extra video today. Maybe I should do that. So I opened my computer, I paused the Snow White video, and I went on Adobe Premiere and got started. Um, I knew I needed to do a few things. I needed to add credits, and I also was thinking about adding music, but I gotta be honest, adding music in that video does feel like quite a tall order. I mean, I know it's like all about like taking it one piece at a time, but this video's been in the oven for a while now, and I don't know, I guess the idea of just adding more stuff to it is a bit overwhelming to me. Well, as I was trying to figure out how to put the titles in, my mom arrived and she wanted me to help out with making the salad that she wanted for lunch with me. So I got out onions, I got out like a bowl, I washed it, and I got the greens out, mixed them up, and she made all the dressings and chopped up the onions and threw everything together with the meats that were heated up, and overall it came off as a nice little salad bowl. We decided to watch a new Y-Files that just launched today. This one is about a comic, no, I think it was an asteroid, like a city killer that apparently was said to be on a collision course towards California, specifically Los Angeles. And yeah, it was basically going through a fictional scenario with AI generated imagery of people who were being affected by this potential asteroid threat and how it would like could completely upend and disrupt people's lives. It's scary. Like, dang, could you imagine like an asteroid hitting the Earth and like, yeah, taking you out real fast? Man, freaky stuff. It gave me the chills, and whenever AJ showed the AI generated destruction in his video, my mom would always go like, whoa, like she was like wowed by the fact that millions of lives were being taken out in an instant. But I guess that's the force of nature, huh? But yeah, and then there was something that was really touching at the end of the video. Apparently one of AJ's fans of the Y-Files had a daughter who sadly was taken away too soon by cancer. She lived from 2022 to 2025. And yeah, there was a little eulogy with the host of the show dropping by and bringing a Hecklefish doll to the girl who was dying of cancer. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was reading that eulogy and seeing that video, I was choking up. Like it was very, very sad, but also like the fact that, you know, he did all that showed that like he has a deep respect for his fans and sees them as human beings. And yeah, it just was a very beautiful thing to see that brought some tears to my eyes, I'm not ashamed to admit. Yeah, pretty crazy. Well, after that, I wanted to go back and work on my YouTube video. And I did manage to finish putting in the credits. I chopped up a few more lines that I thought were unnecessary in there. I increased audio in some channels, decreased audio in other channels. And now I'm on the border of thinking, should there be music, shouldn't there be music? I tried to put some binaural beats in the background on my computer and listen to it while watching my video to see if that made it better. overall, I mean, it made it a little more mentally stimulating with the sound, but is it something that would necessarily make the video better? Maybe. It's a tough decision for me, I gotta be honest. I've been working hard on this thing for a long time, and I'm like at the home stretch, but when I'm watching the video, I gotta be honest, my attention starts to drift a little bit, and I'm thinking that maybe some music would help draw me in more and make me more invested. So I'm starting to think about that for sure. Well, I started to get tired of that, so I saved what I had completed, and then I decided to listen to the Hemisync frequency tapes by Robert Monroe from the Monroe Institute to see if I could have some kind of out-of-body experience or lucid dream. And I gotta be honest, I did have a dream, but I don't remember exactly what happened in it. All I remember was that, like, I was in the house and then I was woken up, like, through shock when I heard my sister open my door and ask, like, if I was, like, ready to go to the grocery store. Like, I was, like, in there exploring the house, and then I heard, like, in real life, the door open, my sister called my name, and then that shocked me out of my sleep and go, ugh! So, yeah, that was pretty intense, not gonna lie. I said I didn't want to because I was super tired, and then she said, all right. But then my mom came in and, wanted me to do it, so I was like, okay, fine. So I dragged myself out of bed. I put on my socks, my shoes, and we drove off to the store to see if we could find some good bargains. And on our way, funnily enough, our family friend is currently in the hospital again to get surgery done, and she's going to need to be wheelchair bound for a while as her foot is healing. And wouldn't you believe it, on our way to the grocery store, someone was giving away free stuff in their front yard, and one of those free things was a wheelchair. Would you look at that? Pretty crazy, huh? Yeah. And pretty awesome, too. So we decided to take advantage of the situation and pick that bad boy up and pop it in the back of the car. My mom even filmed a video of me and my sister on my phone demonstrating that we found it, so we sent the video to our family friends so she could see. Pretty cool stuff, not gonna lie. It felt like a gift from God. Well, we eventually arrived at the grocery store, and we just did some perusing. We looked around the shelves to see if there was anything that caught our eyes. Of course, I saw those keto cookies, and I wanted to try them out. And yeah, we honestly just perused there for a long time before we eventually decided to go and get our things and leave. The lady at the checkout recognized my sister, because apparently my sister shopped there all the time. And yeah, she seemed nice. Well, we left, and eventually we arrived back home, and my sister and my mom immediately got started on dinner with the shrimp pieces, and I immediately opened the bag of the keto cookies and tried them out to see if I would like them. And as you heard earlier in the video, I thought they were pretty gross. So, bummer, dude. Man, what's the name of those cookies so I can warn people not to eat them? Well, all I can say is, like, they're in a blue Ziploc bag, and they're, like, advertised as keto friendly, and they use almond flour and erythritol. I don't understand why companies use erythritol all the time. I mean, there's other keto sweeteners out there that don't have that cooling aftertaste, like, there's allulose, there's also xylitol, I don't know if those are more expensive than erythritol, but they at least don't have that cooling aftertaste, and cookies that use them taste better. So I don't get it. It's very odd to me that they go with that one all the time, even though, in my opinion, it should just stay with like beverages, because those are cold already, or ice creams, because those are also cold already. Whenever they use it with the baked goods, they always have that funky cooling aftertaste that just stinks. No bueno. Yeah. And those Catalina Crunch Oreo cookies were just chemically tasting. I don't know why. Like, they tasted like they've been sitting there for a while, even though I just bought them. Who knows, maybe that's why the store has their lower prices. So that's why we went to the store we went to, because they sell their stuff at a discount. And part of me wonders that if those products probably taste the way they do because they were being sold as items that hadn't been sold on a long time, and were hanging on the shelves and were given to the place that we were at. So that's my theory for why they might have tasted worse. Real big shame. Well, anyways, I decided to clear my palate with those moon cheese balls. And then once dinner was ready, my mom suggested we should watch something. And so I found this YouTube, I found something on YouTube called Patterns, which is like an old 1950s movie that was written by Rod Serling. If you don't know who that is, he's the creator, and he's helped to write a lot of episodes from one of the greatest horror anthology TV shows of all time, The Twilight Zone. Great show if you've never watched it. The old 50s one or 60s one, I think it was like between the 50s and 60s. Anyways, that show, it's really good. It's very, very provocative of deep and existential horror and questions about existence and stuff like that. It's really cool. Definitely check it out. But anyways, that's why we decided to watch this movie, because it had Rod Serling being the writer of the film, and apparently he came up with the idea for it too. The movie Patterns, I gotta be honest, it's a pretty dry movie, but at the same time it does have a lot of good story qualities in it. It's about a guy who gets hired at this big business where he's with the upper ranks in management and corporate. So he's with the CEOs, he's with the vice president, he's part of the board member. He's a board member, part of the group. And apparently the vice president has huge beefs with the CEO, because the CEO runs it as a really cutthroat business, and the vice president prefers it to treat the workers with humanity and dignity. And so they're always clashing at each other, and it gets to the point where the CEO wants to hire the man who is the new hiree as the replacement, but he can't fire the current vice president, because when someone gets to that position of power in a corporate setting, trying to get them to be fired is a nigh impossible thing, because they would pretty much have to do something illegal in order for that to happen, and they just can't. So the only way for someone who's in such a high position like that would have to be resigning on their own terms. And so basically the corporate CEO villain is constantly bullying the vice president guy, who's a humanitarian, into resigning. And the vice president doesn't want to. He wants to remain firm to his beliefs and stick to what he knows is right. And that ultimately causes some problems down the road in the movie. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, I'd say give it a good look. Yeah, the whole film is free to watch on YouTube. But I must warn you, it is a film from the early 50s, and early 50s movies did have that really kind of corny acting where the characters kind of sound like they're reading from a script and they're very well rehearsed. And I mean, they still put in a decent performance, but honestly, you can tell that they're acting. Whereas, like, later movies from, like, the late 60s, like, 70s and onward, like, actors began getting more and more dynamic with their performances. Whereas back in those days, it was clear that, like, acting movies, it was still a relative novelty, and so, like, when actors came in, like, they really only had a background in stage and theater, and so they present themselves as theatrical, and that's why, like, you see them act like that in, like, earlier films. So yeah, it's a very dry movie, very a very, I guess you could say, down to earth film, if that makes any sense. Like, don't expect it to have super fast cuts or like extreme, like, face to face drama. I mean, there is characters yelling at each other, but it's, it's something that is a bit more has more dignity and it's a bit more reserved, but it also shows what goes on in the underbelly of corporate culture. But yeah, that's my review. I would give it a recommendation if you like Rod Serling, you like a style of storytelling, if you enjoy older films from the 50s, and if you find the story of a CEO trying to kick away the vice president by hiring the new guy and triangulating interesting. It was pretty decent. I'd give it like a solid, probably like a high 7. I'd give it a high 7. Low 8, somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool twist ending at the end. That's what brings up a few points for me. Classic Rod Serling style. Well, anyways, after that long, extensive review of the movie, it got me thinking, wait, so AI is like logic driven and pays attention to what makes a company work and what makes a company not work. So could it be possible that AI eventually takes CEO jobs in the very near future? I mean, that would be hilarious because CEOs are honestly like, they like to pay themselves a whole lot of money because they're like, I'm the guy who runs the entire operation, so therefore I deserve to have 20 more yachts in my backyard. So yeah, it would be hilarious if, like, those people who pride themselves on being the, honcho of, like, billions of dollars worth, gets a little taste of their own medicine. But I don't know. I actually asked ChatGPT 5 and it said that the jobs where we will have the first AI CEOs are very likely to come within 5 to 10 years. So that's pretty interesting. Can't wait to see that happen. At least someone's getting their comeuppance during this AI takeover. Sucks that all the cool jobs are being taken by the robots, though. Well, anyways, after that extensive discussion about AI potentially taking over CEO jobs with ChatGPT 5 and my mom also wanting to ask questions, we decided to see what were the new feature set in ChatGPT 5. So we opened a video up on YouTube that was a summation of all the new things that ChatGPT 5 can do in a truncated form of like 12 minutes from CNET, from the presentation that the company OpenAI did. And that was like a good hour and a half long. Yeah, pretty much it's really good at coding. And it's just getting better at logic and reasoning. Yeah. Crazy stuff. And when my mom learned that it could do programming and make games and demonstrations and simulations with just a prompt and one go. She was curious if it could do things that would give more practical understanding and knowledge of stuff like algebra and math. And apparently the robot could do it. So that made my mom wonder, yeah, I wish that when they taught math back when I was in school, that they made it more practical, like instead of abstract. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Well, after that, I decided to go for a good hour and a half long walk around the neighborhood while listening to the Area 52 podcast. And then switching to just some old like music from like the 80s. And then afterwards, I arrived home. And I decided to listen to a video about how to lucid dream. I'm going to actually try it tonight. Apparently, you need to have a journal next to you when you lucid dream, because that sets an intention in your head that you're going to remember to write your dreams down when you wake up. So that way you'll know what to look out for when you're in a dream. And it's like setting an implementation intention. So I thought, hey, dang, that's pretty interesting. I'm going to try it. Then I realized I needed to take out the trash, so I did that. Once the trash was taken out, I needed to take my vitamins with the mineral water. I didn't have to do it with the mineral water. I wanted to, because I like the fizziness of it and the chillness of it too. And brushed my teeth. I swished some mouthwash, spit that out, said goodnight to my sister and her cat, Call Me. And I'm here recording this update for you before going to sleep. And keeping in mind to keep this guy around to see if I can record any interesting dreams. Well, that's pretty much the entire day in like 37 minutes and 22 seconds. So, thanks for joining me. I hope it wasn't too long. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody, and goodbye.